Hello everyone, I am Emperor 45 of Spokane and all Eastern Washington. We do have a whole bunch of people coming in from all around the United States and also Canada. We do have emperors from Florida. We have emperors from Ogden, Utah. We also have Halifax. We also have Fort Worth, Texas, and New Mexico. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So please tune in, share out the broadcast as much as possible. So let's bring up our first person as well. Or let's bring us all in. Let's bring in Emperor of New Mexico, Egypt. Uh-oh. Hello, Your Majesty. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I know Fort Worth's Emperor said he's going to be running a little late. He's just getting off work. Let's bring in Imperial. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to read the flyer. Sorry. The Emperor 2 and Regent Emperor 3 of all Florida, Imperial Mike. Emperor 41 of Las Vegas, Gregory Smith. Hello, Imperial Mike.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good. It looks really warm out there.
Yes, it's rainy. It's not really, it's 90 degrees. Sorry.
Hello, Your Majesty, Gregory Smith.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Let's also bring in His Majesty from Ogden, Utah, Brandon Pacheco.
Hola.
Hello, how are you?
Ooh.
I'm trying to figure out this background.
It's a green screen.
Yeah.
Well, give me just a moment. We're also going to bring in our IT guy that's running the whole backgrounds. He's
Can we
also
put
the emperor.
Dancing Vegas girls on that green screen?
You said everything about that is wrong.
We need dancing guys. I'll be okay with that. Let's also bring out the Emperor Patrick. There he is. somewhere.
Hello.
There he is.
Nice to meet you, Patrick. I don't think I've ever met you.
I don't think I haven't met you guys either, but it was great to meet you all.
You've never been to me. Wait, what?
I apologize. It's nice to meet you.
I was wondering who Just B was, so I was like, hold on,
You
who
want me to
is
change
it?
it? I can change it. I do know how to do that.
So how do you change the green screen for him, Patrick?
So what you would need to do to change your camera settings, you will go under cam mic. If you look on the bottom there, you will see mute, stop cam mic.
Uh-huh.
When you're in the settings, go to green screen.
Got it.
Choose whatever background you want, my man.
Oh, look at that.
Sorry, guys, we're still trying to learn all of this. So thank you, Patrick, for coming into the rescue because Zoom was not working for me. I was up almost all night trying to figure it all out.
Justin, I have a question.
My pleasure.
What's up, Imperial Mike?
Is Egypt drinking ramen noodles or is he having coffee?
Romanu. Oh, we
This
can't
early
see
in the
you.
morning?
What?
He's having coffee this early in the morning?
Okay.
That's okay.
I don't think I can do Bob Ross.
Cheers. All right, so Brandon, we cannot see you.
I know, because that was Bob Ross. He takes up like all the room. That dude, let me tell you, he's shady.
So I heard a little birdie is having a pageant tonight. So would the Emperor of Ogden like to talk about his pageant tonight?
I think is it because I'm wearing white?
Probably.
Could be a possibility. Maybe there's not enough light in the background. That could be also that too.
Oh, I'll leave it as green. I'm okay with that.
So would you like to talk about your pageant tonight?
So the pageant tonight actually was created by my Empress. Crazy enough, she's there. She was Empress 1 way back in the day, and now she's reigning with me as regent. So it's the Fire and Ice pageant that she proclaimed as one of her proclamations, which is, I think, kind of cool. So she actually gets to be double decade, and it's her pageant tonight. So the great thing that Ogden has done, and it's not just us, I know other courts and realms have done the same, is introducing the non-binary titles throughout, whether it's Emprex or all those fun things. Ogden did that shortly after Salt Lake, kind of not in a cookie cutter type of fashion, but with this reign, we actually have I know it's still new, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have the most title holders holding non-binary titles. We have a Prince X, we have plenty through the top 9. We just stepped down a non-binary with our Lord and Lady, and now we're here for the pageant tonight to see if we can do it again.
Which is amazing.
Huh?
Congratulations.
It's amazing.
Well, we gotta do it. And for little Ogden, I think that's pretty good. So
And by the way, I love that shirt.
Well, you told me I had to get fancy.
Well,
just
all
put
of
on
you
my-
guys look very dapper.
Well, when I go out to Walmart, this is what I wear.
Thank you, Brandon, for your fancy.
I think I have that in black.
I have it in black and gold. Should I go change?
You might be able to use your background then.
Yeah, right. Nah, it's whatever.
All right. So, does anybody else have any events going on this weekend?
Today we just had Lee's Lunches with feeding the homeless here in Fort Lauderdale, and it was very rewarding. We were able to present them with a check of some of our proceeds from this year, and it was very well received. So we had a great time.
And I was reading a little bit on that, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, we have an event next week. We're doing an Easter bonnet show, so it's gonna be interesting to see how many of the guys will show up in Easter bonnets. I'm still looking for one. So
You know, last year I actually we had the Easter bonnet show, and all of our title holders from last year, they actually decorated their own Easter bonnets and auctioned them off. And I actually won one, and it was a military hat that just was completely covered in rhinestones. And it had 2 Easter bunny ears like on each side. It was just adorable.
that
So,
sounds fun.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. We actually are having a fundraiser next Saturday as well. We're going to do a whole bunch of auctions. So we actually scratched the whole idea for Easter bonnets this year because we're having it the day before Easter.
Wow.
So anybody else?
I would think Greg would have it already done because he's like, Greg, you live like in a literal, like a craft store city. Like, did that come true?
What was that again?
I said, Gregory, you live in like a literal craft store city, so you should have yours done.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and they're starting to get back and all that good stuff too. So we have some people that are in the court that work with some of the shows and stuff. So they're pretty excited that they're starting to bring back the live shows and those people can get to work. And of course, we have Helen 12 Trees down here who is just amazing at making that stuff and doing that crafts. But you know, I have to say, Brandon, even though I ended up in Las Vegas, I'm still kind of an Idaho, Utah kid at heart. You know, raised in Pocatello.
I love Pocatello.
And then ended up in Lewiston near the Spokane area. So this is kind of like old home week with you two guys on here.
Well, just put some E600 on a hat and just go head first and like Anna Devey, and just whatever falls out on your hat, there you go. You'll have some feathers.
So we do have a couple of people commenting. Sammy, Emperor or Empress of Las Vegas says, "Woohoo, my emperor or emperor." Christopher said, "Greetings from Central Texas." Trying to see here. I would like to know what your biggest challenges are and have been since the beginning of COVID. Anybody want to answer that one? You do?
I can answer our biggest challenge in one word since this whole thing started, and that would be Facebook. I mean, we started doing virtual shows probably 2 months after after things shut down. And then we did a lot of them from my home downstairs and just had a small group of people. But, you know, getting cut off on Facebook as 501c3s, and that's been our biggest hurdle on how to work around that and how to keep the time going. We ended up cutting ourselves off after about 50 minutes just so like we could get another 50 minutes coming back when we log back in. But, you know, you always lose part of the crowd and the attendees after that. So that's been one of our biggest hurdles. Donations have kind of dropped off a little bit on the online. So we're still trying to figure out, you know, how can we increase the tips and the donations and whatnot, because there's not the interaction like in the bars to where when one person sees someone tip, they're more apt to go up and tip, and we don't have that. So that's probably been the biggest hurdle that we've had.
Okay. Egypt, do you have any hurdles?
We usually do like everything.
I can barely hear you.
We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, try that.
Okay, so probably my thing wasn't. No, what I was saying is that our biggest income is through drag shows. Like most of our money we do through drag shows and car washes and bingos, and with everything closing down, so I kind of like stalled on like fundraising. I didn't know like what to do, or it was just I felt guilty asking for money. You know, I was just like, people are going through hard times. Like, what do we do to like make money for our charities, because our charities are hurting as well. And so it's been challenging. So it worked out. We've been doing monthly raffle baskets, so that's been like giving us our income, and you know, been able to, because what we do is every month we do sandwiches for the homeless. So it was challenging at first, but I think with the baskets they've been working out. So yeah, so we're doing that.
Okay. Good.
Well, and I think that's an interesting idea as well, is we've had to think outside the box. But Las Vegas is different in the area that we have to go through the state just to do raffles. And if we end up doing a raffle over a medium like this, it becomes an online raffle, and there's a whole new set of rules that we have to play by, and even online auctions. So, and they're pretty strict here in Vegas about that stuff, and you have to get prior approval. So when we do our online show, it's basically relying on the tips of those watching.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. Did you see the message in the private chat?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that.
I had to open up Facebook to get the comments, so that's why.
Okay.
All right. What about you, Imperial Mike?
Can you repeat the question?
Any hurdles from the beginning of
hurdles?
COVID?
Of course, there have been hurdles. The main hurdle is pushing forward with your ideas. And, you know, everyone needs their ideas to be approved by their board. Our board has been very supportive and forgiving at the same time. But, you know, once you have an idea, you kind of have to roll with it. Especially if you feel in your heart that it's going to be successful in raising several $100s, you have to continue to move forward with it and hope that everyone else jumps on board as you go along and produce the results. So it's a little rogue down here in our young state of Florida with PNP and things, but being respectful to your board, and but pushing forward as a reign, you really have to kind of put your foot forward and ask for forgiveness later. I think
Agreed.
that
And my biggest suggestion would be like, me and my Empress, we have been watching a lot of things that other courts have been doing for fundraising. There's a lot of ideas that we came up with. We're actually, my opinion, since COVID has begun, I feel like we are actually doing a little bit better on fundraising. We're not doing any live shows. We're not doing performances. We're not doing any of that. All we're doing is auction items, auctioning them, and we're doing great. I'm just very surprised with COVID on how well we're doing. And like I'm talking to a couple emperors that are on here right now about seeing if they wanted to team up and do a fundraiser together. And right now, that's what we have to do, my personal opinion, because a lot of emperors, or not emperors, sorry, a lot of courts are not doing as well as they have in the past.
Mm-mm.
And if we stay strong together, we will build on that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you, mister? I'm trying to click on you. It won't even. Who
Who, me?
hasn't answered? I'm sorry. I don't know who hasn't answered.
I can go if you'd like.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here in Halifax, we do have a couple of hurdles as well. We're on the east side here in Canada. Now, for us, we do have like some cases of everything that's going on, but since last year, everything's been shut down. We were struggling to making money for the charities, and when I started to learn and trying to do all these online shows and learning the system and everything else, and with everything is everything, we're trying to do like some PayPal, and we have here in Canada e-transfers, which is also helping. It goes directly in the bank account, which is fantastic. But by advertising it online, it's super hard, and we were making less money as what we were doing before everything happened. But we're trying to do online auctions. We're trying to do here in Nova Scotia, we do have the raffle box that we're having right now. And this is only for Nova Scotia, but as what Emperor Gregory was saying, everything when it goes online, you have all these different rules. And you have to go through these hurdles of these licenses, and between with everything of what is happening, it's very complicated to do these online auctions, especially by shipping everything, the cost and everything that you wanted to do. But we're trying to do as much, like we're trying to reach the community to see if they can do to help. And we're doing the best as we can. So
Well, that's all we can do, right?
absolutely.
And if you ever need any help with fundraising, just let me know. I'm down. You're helping out
you have to
tremendously.
keep in mind.
What was that?
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
You have to keep in mind that there haven't been courts that have had to do this type of intense fundraising online, and so please don't put pressure on yourself to have to produce the same numbers or comparative numbers that keep your court afloat or moving forward, because this is just unprecedented times that we're still in.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
I totally agree. So I do want to say Patrick, I do want to say thank you so much for stepping up and helping us out with this, because I was up most of the night last night trying to figure this out, and I could not figure it out. Very stressful. So I do want to
I
thank you.
completely understand. And it's I've been doing this for almost a year, and the fact is, like, me helping other courts to teach how to do online shows or to do video performances, I'm always there. If you guys wanted to reach out, and we can definitely do shows like what we're doing right now. It's fun.
It is. And what about you, Brandon?
Do you
What was that?
Oh, I'm here. It just keeps pausing.
do you want to say what number?
I'm sorry, I can barely hear.
Oh, what was it? Oh my gosh, I think mine is like in jet lag or some crap. Hold on. It was trying to do my background again, and I'm like, no, don't do my background again. There we go. That's much better. As far as struggles go here in Utah, I think we were a bit cocky when the virus first hit because our numbers were as low. It's only because we're landlocked and it's Utah, and you know how Utah folks are. So then it hit, and our numbers went skyrocketed. And actually, during Rain 20, and I think we can kind of relate a little bit with out there in New Mexico and things. A lot of Rain 20 before me were really at a standstill and didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, in all actuality, I think they kind of like there's like a good 3 months almost of inactivity of the organization. So it came close to, do we hibernate for a year and move it over to the board of directors, or do we? And whatever happened, and I'm here. And we're going through it, and not everything's perfect. Our struggle mostly has been old school versus what we're at now. A lot of people don't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, we want to go chit-chat with our friends. We want to rub our germs all over each other and just do what we normally do and be in the bar and drink. And so I actually have my Prince and Prince X, who are very pro virtual and have that opportunity and that tech swabbiness to do so. So we're allowing them to kind of run the virtual side of a lot of it. And where we feel comfortable, we do the in-person, which has only been just recently throughout the beginning of this year. So we call them a lot of hybrid functions. So folks, we encourage to stay at home if you're able. And then we're just now got to YouTube. We're now starting to begin StreamYard. And so we're a little behind a lot of the other courts that are kind of more advanced in how they are operating their system, but we're getting there. So we have that open door to keep people at home and safe, as well as in person. So that's kind of, I think that's kind of common. Kind of going on the top of this bingo thing that Egypt was talking about. Come better weather, I actually have a few going. It's going to be a series of bingo, but it's tailgate bingo. So we have a property that we're able to have everyone bring in their vehicles, trucks, whatever, lay down the tailgate, actually round the wagon, so to speak. We have a DJ system, and inside of the middle we have the table for the bingo, and we have the food, and then we're going one-to-one with distancing. They can order like barbecue plates and raffle tickets. There's performances, and so that's kind of when it hits summer and
Oh, that's so cool.
how we're going to do bingo. So my mother's church ladies actually were doing that, and then there was a fundraiser for a no-kill animal shelter that was doing it that way. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick up on. I think that'd be great. So, and who doesn't like a tailgater?
Hey,
I know, right?
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would
Tailgate
be
bingo.
yeah. So just that is really kind of what the cashless has been a problem, because some people, we've had the gloves, we've had the sanitizers at tables, we've had the let's try a pageant with no cash. where you can tip. The president of the board last year took those little QR codes and actually printed them into non-touch little presenters and had them at all the tables. Had them as you entered the door, but not everyone carries the phone or has an app for QR code, but it was an option that they could just scan and pull that up and directly donate and not touch. We do have a few of our performers that they rely on that interaction of picking up $1 or taking $1. We have the baskets. We completely let people know if that's what you want to do, then it's up to you. You can just leave it go in the container. Then the show coordinator can get that little bag to you, and then you do as you please. Or you can just go right into a donation box where the board, treasurer, or whoever's at the door will handle that. So we have that available too. So we're kind of trying a mix of everything. So it's a modge podge of that, just where everyone's comfortable.
That's
I
good.
don't think it was an easy answer these days.
Well, I will tell you, when I was in Texas, in Fort Worth, on the way into Fort Worth, Lindsay, my drag mother, and I went to Denny's. And Denny's actually has the little codes sitting right there on their tables where you scan those and see the menus and stuff. And you could also pay your bill that way as well.
Okay.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was really cool.
But you
I
already
always ask for a menu. I don't do that QR stuff. Menu,
I was
please.
gonna say that you're already at Denny's. You're gonna build up an immunity anyway.
I thought it was pretty cool. What was
If
that,
you would have
Jeremiah?
invited me, we could have had a discount.
Oh, your ARP. Here we go.
I'm just saying, it's on my back.
How much of a discount is that?
You'll find out.
Well, I hope to see you guys all in Salt Lake City. I know Salt Lake City's coronation's coming up Memorial Day weekend.
and they are in person.
What was that?
They are in person.
Yes, they are in person.
So
I know, like a lot of people are
Is
freaking
it-
out about like in person. Like a lot of people have opinions about in-person coronations and this and that. But like at the end of the day, like as long as we're safe, and it's up to you to take care of yourself. Actually,
Agreed.
and just follow the rules. And we have to live. We have to continue living. You know, and it's just like it sucks that like there's so much like people that are getting like that, like those rude Facebook messages about having an in-person coronation and how like it's just like, oh, I don't think it's right. But I feel like after going to Fort Worth's coronation, and you guys could vouch for it, like it was super chill, it was super different. It was like we all wore our masks, we all kind of didn't touch each other.
Mhm.
It was like I enjoyed it.
It was safe. It was
was
very
safe.
safe. Yes.
You were able to check somebody with your mask on.
That what?
You were able to check someone with their mask on.
I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
thank you, Gilbert.
So, what's the next coronation that anybody's going to?
Salt Lake for me.
What's that?
I know
Is
Oklahoma's coming up next month, but I
Yeah.
won't be traveling.
Is-
So I'm not for sure.
is the Salt Lake coronation a limited one, or is it? What's the numbers?
Do you know Brandon?
I haven't seen any announcements on the restriction of attendees. And I haven't seen their ballroom, and I've kind of haven't seen too much on their advertising other than knowing what the theme is. But I know with their board, with the Monarchs alone and their board of directors, they're gonna make sure that it's taken care of safely. they're pretty up on that. I'm not
Oh,
worried about that, so I think it'll
I
be
just
fine.
got a comment here. Waco coronation is May 8th.
Oh yeah, I'm going to that.
We also do have a question here from Duncan. Duncan says, "Hello, Your Majesties. I have a question for you all. In this time of modernization of many courts," sorry, I'm trying to squint my eyes to look at my phone. "How would you advise a court that is resisting offering general, neutral, and gender fluid titles such as Empress and Princess?"
Mm.
That's a hard question. Anyone have an answer?
Well, yeah, I kind of do.
Okay, go on ahead.
Being a gay man and growing up through times of change, and I'll preface that with a little bit about being in the military from the 80s to the 2000s and going through the slow process that we had to go through with Don't Ask, Don't Tell and all of that. That resistance is always going to be there from one aspect or another. And if you have a board that's resisting you on what you want to do, you have to then turn around and make it applicable to them, I guess, is the most reasonable effort to start with. You get a lot of these courts that have older people like me that are on the board, and we come from history and tradition, and we like to fight change and whatnot. But yet you can start swaying them by making them, I don't know, it's like the old verbiage. Make them think it's their idea, in a sense. So you need to bring them on by slowly introducing them to this and to the gender titles and the gender neutral titles, and yet don't exclude them at the same time. Because that's one way that you will get resistance that won't stop, is if they feel like they're excluded. Include them in such things as coming up with the title that's gender neutral. Don't just say we're going to have an Empress, but include them a little bit in coming up with that Empress title, or another title that's maybe worded a little differently that has the same responsibilities and honor that an emperor or empress title has. It's my 2 cents. And it is what it is. I don't know this person's court. I don't know this person's board. But I know I'm least resistant to change when I'm felt to be, when I feel as though I'm included in coming to those decisions and not just being told that this is what we're going to do and we need the board approval.
I would second that too, because I'm sitting here like, when people come up to me and ask me questions about something that they want done, but then if they say, "Oh, we're going to do this," it's like I'm a little bit hesitant. You know, it's like, no, let's try to come up with something that it's going to look like all of us had some kind of say instead of a demand that this is going to be done. So yeah, go to your board and talk with your board and say, hey, let's talk about this. Let's try to generalize this so it looks like it's coming from the entire board, just not one person. So I agree with you, Greg.
Yeah. So in our court, like we have a lot of different titles as well. We elected our first Empress, and I have princess on my line, and you just have like for us, I asked him, I was like, what do you want to be called? What do you want your title to be? And you have to like, and a lot of days of like the old school people are not like, oh my god, like Mama Jose created the international court system for an emperor and an empress, and like this is not what it's all about. And a lot of people, like a lot of courts have that mentality, like you were saying, the old school mentality. But we're in the 21st century. Like we have to move forward with different ideas and different. We just can't be stuck to an emperor and empress. Like for us, we change it where the top two are the winners of the monarchy. So anybody could run against each other. So you're basically running against like trying to get the top vote. So two emperors could win, two empresses could win. You know, and it's a community vote. So that's who the people are choosing to want to work with. So let it be, you know. So I think it's just like a lot of the old school people are in that mentality of like we have to do it this way. And you always get those monarchs. So like when I reigned, we did it this way. While you reigned in 1970, like it's 2021, like it doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I agree with Egypt too. It's like you got to treat it like you're teaching your mom and dad how to use Facebook or a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Or some of this new StreamYard or what? Because I don't know what the StreamYard is.
I hate technology. I don't even know it either.
Some people don't get it because they're trying to swipe right on their screens and it's not working.
Oh, we lost somebody.
We lost Florida.
Imperial Mike.
He's a mess.
What was your kind of so how Egypt was mentioning on where whomever wants to run, our pageants run that way too, and then we take the top two of those that were, and then it's how would you prefer to identify in this title, and then it's up to them to decide whether they are going whichever direction is comfortable for their true authentic self, and we go from there. Old school, like, I mean, whether you want to talk old guard and leather community versus what leather's coming out, you see, it's kind of the same kind of thing. They don't like people to get away or do things that they couldn't, or their tradition versus what we see in some IML now. That's a little different too. International Men of Leather kind of thing. It's a lot of, they have to let go of a lot. We can't progress for the sake of progress, whatever you want to call it, not moving on or accepting. It is delicate, but you'll remain stagnant. And right now our fundraising and our traveling and our networking is limited as is. So I would actually look at your mission statements of your organizations or ICS and where anywhere in there say that it's going to be non-inclusive. And I don't see it. So
Yeah.
it's not easy to change your mode of thinking, but it's very easy to be respectful.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Egypt, Jordan just stated, kudos for the opinion of two empresses. That's awesome. Our court in London is very emperor and empress.
Mhm.
So,
And when for us, when the board did that, and I was just like, that's kind of weird. Like, why would we do that? Like, I was, because I've been part of the court forever, and I'm just like, I think that's just dumb, because it's like it's an emperor and an empress. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, we are a gay organization. Like, why can't two men reign or two women reign or whatever you want to call yourself reign? Like, it's just the top two, and it basically comes down to like who's going to get the job done for these charities to get their money. So whatever it is.
I have a question for Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a proclamation that was made introducing the title, but hasn't been instituted because of our bylaws and whatever. But we've looked at this issue of having the top two that are voted in. But the questions, a lot of the questions that came up was, it's just going to be a popularity contest.
Mhm.
It's going to be, you have these drag queens that are always on the stage and whatnot, and you don't, I mean, in the 2 courts I've been involved with, we haven't had a lot of purely male performers that are up on the stage. Well, then it becomes a popularity contest, and you have 2 drag queens, whether one may choose the title of Empress or Empress, or both choose the title of Empress, that are winning year after year because they're out on the stage front and center. Does that become a popularity contest then, instead of who's able to do the job and raise money or support the community better? I don't know. Have you run into that yet, or is this your
No.
first year doing that?
No, we've been, and you know what though, we've been doing it for like a couple of years, and it always been the top 2, and it's always been an emperor and empress, because I think that's what like the community has seen who's gonna work better for them. But like for an instant, like before we had that, there was a reign that we had 2 emperor candidates and an empress candidate, I think it was, and the emperor candidate, the one that lost, got more votes than the empress candidate that won. Does that make sense? Like before we had the top 2. So
Right.
if we would have had the top 2, it would have been 2 emperors instead of the
Right.
emperor and the empress, because like that's how it was, you know, because they believed. So that's when it all became more like we were like, maybe we should, because sometimes we do run into that problem, and it's like how you say, it's like popularity, but sometimes you run into that problem where you have like a strong empress and an emperor that is not as popular but is not as like a hard worker than the person that lost. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, so it's just, yeah, it's gonna be, either way it's gonna be hard, but the right people will always win, I guess.
We can hope.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
yeah.
like last reign here in Spokane, we actually had 2 emperors last year and 1 empress. They worked their tails off together. I would say, if I ever chose to do this again, I would love to have another emperor next to me.
Yeah.
To kind of someone whom has been an emperor before, so they can kind of like mentor. I love that whole second emperor, so you can always call and say, hey, this is what I kind of want to do, you know, what do you think? But right now it's like you call your College of Monarchs, talk to your College of Monarchs or your empress. So I like that too, but I'd rather have another counterpart, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a little easier.
Yeah.
I do have another question on here. Oh, Duncan said, thank you all for your advice and your opinions on the question. Where's the other
Just
one?
don't give up, Duncan. Just don't give up. Fight for what you believe in and just do it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Where's the question at?
Checking the private chat.
I typed it in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you were a president or some Canadian.
Teaching that old man technology isn't worked yet.
If you were a president or some Canadian courts a prime minister, how willing would you be to hand information to the executive for proper running of courts? That's an interesting question, because I don't ever look at myself being one of those big old titles. So, you know, I don't ever want to be a president. It kind of scares me. And prime minister, I know that would scare you too. But
Are we talking the president of a court or the president like the president of the United States?
or president of the board, or
As the chair, I guess they want to say.
I'm
Of the
waiting.
court.
Jordan, can you answer that question for us? So
Well-
to go off of a little bit of what Egypt was saying, let's go off of that a little bit. Fort Worth, you know, there was a lot of people that got a lot of backlash for going to Fort Worth. I just wanted to put this out there. They checked our temperatures. Everyone was wearing masks. When you're sitting at your table, you were allowed to take your mask off while you're eating or drinking. And we're past our 5 days of being at coronation, and no one tested positive that we're aware of as of yet. So it shows that they did something right. It makes me feel more comfortable to go to coronations. I felt very, very safe there. And I'm sure, Egypt, I know you were there. Did you feel very comfortable, safe with all the social distancing? Yes, we did take our mask off for some photos, which were shared out on Facebook. But once we took them off, took the picture, we put them right back on. Everyone in our group were vaccinated.
Yeah.
And we felt very comfortable with it. And I was really, really safe. I felt like we were all safe. So what is your aspect on it?
Yeah, I felt safe. I mean, people do, like, I got questions from people, and I'm like, nothing wrong with it, what I'm about to say, because I've been there. But like these people that complain to me or ask me questions about it, I'm like, you step into a bathhouse, you know, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being in a bathhouse, but I'm like, we've been to a bathhouse, we've been to like other stuff that's like unsafe, and we still, I think it's just up to us to take care of ourselves the way we need to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like if you go, you know, and I think most of the people in Texas were vaccinated. Most of them were like, most of the people we hung out were like, yeah, I already got my first shot. Like I'm getting my second one after coronation. Like it was just like, it was really chill. It was different because like you couldn't like hug everybody. Like, you know, you couldn't make out with everybody. But I think it was I felt safe. I did.
I did too.
So I guess I have I don't know if it's moderate or whatnot thought about this, but you know, I'm going to put it out there. COVID is dangerous. We're getting COVID vaccines. A lot of the states are still, and the bars still have the mask mandates, still have the social distancing and precautions. You can have your mask off when you eat, when you drink. I take the comments with a grain of salt. You know, no matter what I do, someone is not going to like it.
Agreed.
I don't think our boards need to be to the point of, oh my God, you posted on Facebook and you didn't have a mask on at an event. You know, we're in the situation. We know what's going on. We know how to be safe. And the people that are giving us negative feedback, yes, I respect that you're giving us negative feedback, but I'm going to use that and make my determination on the fundraising that I want to have and to do. And within our social distancing guidelines, yours may be different in Timbuktu than mine is. And you're going to have those that are way off to the right that are really relaxed about it. And you're going to have those that are off to the left that are like, I can't believe you're going out even in this environment. So we all have to take it with kind of a grain of salt and weigh it and look at it and not base our decisions off of the few negative comments that we get.
Okay. Sounds good. And I completely agree.
Yeah, agree.
Did we get any
Um,
clarification on what they meant in that question as the president?
I have not gotten a response yet, and it looks like he is no longer on the Facebook.
Well, reading that, I'm gonna let's see. So, if you're the president of the Canadian president or of some Canadian courts that have a prime minister, are you willing to hand information to the executive for proper running of the court organization?
If I was the president of the United States, I don't know that I would have time to be concerned with a court.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of seeing this as more within the ICS as a transparency type of thing.
That's what I'm kind of thinking as well.
And maybe
Now,
what we did is what we did, and you're in there and you can figure it out.
absolutely. Now, even like I'm in Canada in Halifax. Like I was a chair of a board for a couple of years, but I've been doing the best as I can just to of what the emperor and empress they wanted to achieve for their year, and that's all I could have done to make sure the organization is safe.
Agreed.
I was president of the board here in Las Vegas for a year, and I mean, I had a rough year as president because in Vegas things are a little bit different. But I think as any chair, you have to balance what your bylaws say because that was established by your membership. But you have to balance it with the state regulations say. So if there's conflicting between the two, you have to figure out which one you want to go with and then deal with the consequences. I think transparency on Brandon, talking about transparency, is a good way to go to a point, unless it involves something that might damage someone else's name or cause legal issues. Then I'm okay with a little redaction in that aspect.
The one thing that, and I'm sure it's not just our board of directors or how our organization runs. So when we're mentioning transparency, we have documentation when we bring folks onto our board of directors that one, they have their code of conduct and how they're going to conduct themselves and what propriety they're going to have in their position on the board. Next to that, we also have a board confidentiality. So when we do move into executive session, that those discussions are held within so, and as in transparency, there's ways to request those conversations or decisions for full disclosure. But at community, where they're able to read, hear, see, and do, we do shelter a lot of that because we want to protect people's credibility and their character as much as possible. So that's what we have in place as far as that goes. But ultimately, as a 501c, I know there's organizations in the ICS that are not nonprofit and they operate plainly on just as a charity and they do get the funds off of it. So they're in a whole different area. But transparency in a lot of within the United States alone, I know is required as a 501c.
So let's ask this question because someone just texted me this question. I just wanted to ask it for everyone. What is your perspective about making our communities feel safe going out during our pandemic, during the pandemic we're going through? How would you make your community feel more safe?
I would say, I mean, a lot of people don't believe in this, but I would encourage everybody to sign up to get a vaccine. I think that's going to be the safest way for the long run, because we don't know if it's going to hit again. But I would encourage everybody to sign up to get a vaccine, and maintaining social distancing and wearing your mask, washing your hands. Like, that's the only thing you could be able. I would suggest to do. Right.
Agreed. Yep.
The-
Like my big thing that I always tell people, when you get your vaccine, take a photo of your card, share it out. Show that people don't need to be afraid. Because if we're sharing that out, it's showing, you know what, we're doing what we need to do to make sure not only ourselves are safe, but everyone around us is safe. Wearing a mask. As long as you're wearing a mask and someone else is wearing a mask, the chances are very slim. As long as you're washing your hands, you're completely okay. As long as you're wearing a mask and washing your hands, staying 6 feet distancing. Like I just heard just the other day, there's a school that has changed their social distancing from 6 feet to 3 feet. And to be honest, with them having their little dividers at their desk, I think that's okay. I really do. I think that's very safe. But that's my opinion. Jordan just said, okay, going to Egypt's comments. If you are allergic to some, hold on. If you are allergic to some, if all, of the components in the vaccine. So what if you were allergic to them?
There's
Well,
Jesse.
Hello, Your Majesty.
How are y'all?
Doing good. How are you?
welcome.
Tired. Junior.
So
Aw.
there's a lot of information out there about the vaccine.
Mhm.
And allergic or not allergic, or I don't have a clue about even if you can be allergic to this vaccine because it deals with RNA. What I'm going to tell you to do is go to your doctor. If he says don't get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. Some of these immune system disorders that people have, the vaccine may not work. Your best bet is to discuss it with your doctor and make a decision. Back on the other conversation, as far as feeling safe at shows and whatnot, we can only do what we can do. And I agree a lot with Egypt, except that when we have a show, we say we're going to follow with the protocols that are put in place. But we also let them know if you do not feel safe or feel comfortable coming, we respect that decision of yours. And hopefully we will see you at another event when you feel safe. So it's about recognizing what the individual's decisions are too.
Agreed.
Somewhere, someone watching at home is making this a drinking game on a Saturday, and every time we say the word mask, somebody takes a drink.
So we say mask a heck of a lot more.
No, I'm kind of, as far as trying to make folks comfortable, I think that's why here in our areas, what we try to do is make those events hybrid. So, and make it well known. We put it in our newsletter. We put it in our weekly chats we have with our community. Stay home if that's your thing, and that's what you do. We'll figure it out. We're not going to invite you or encourage you or force you to do what is uncomfortable or what you find unsafe. We've actually waived attendance requirements till the end of Rain 21 that would normally force people to come in and do things or require. We moved requirements and adjusted for this time where we're at. doing that, trying to make someone feel comfortable in this pandemic. I have to look at it as I don't know each and every person's personal interaction or their history or their testimony, so to speak, of this virus, because there could be some trauma there. There could be some post-traumatic stress disorder there. There could be some personal where they've had somebody pass away. So those folks in general, or they've had it and they just don't want to. Those people are you can't force the mode of thinking. The only thing you can do really is be compassionate and understanding where they're coming from and provide the avenues where they can maybe feel a little more safe and hope they run it out. As far as allergies go, I know that there's you're mentioning the RNA. There's anything, whether it's from the needles to the sterilization to components of, and hypersensitivity is a whole different thing to whether you're going to be an allergic reaction, because nobody wants any of that.
And I also know that some of the shots do have egg base to them.
Well,
And some people are allergic to eggs. So I completely understand that question. But like me, I'm allergic to penicillin. But they can give me something to counter-react that allergy to kind of make it where I'm not going to have as much symptoms as if they just injected me with penicillin.
And this is not like gluten-free vaccine, cage-free, range-free vaccine, any of that kind of stuff. This is,
Yep.
Yeah, I get you.
So,
It's a tough road, and I don't think you're ever gonna make anyone 100% happy. But absent the vaccine, or absent the whole pandemic aside, and it wasn't not in existence, as your reign, you're still not going to make everyone 100% happy either.
mm-hmm.
So,
Agreed.
a lot of it is information.
So I do want to say something since he just got on. I just wanted to say to Jesse, Emperor Jesse from Fort Worth, welcome. Also, we wanted to let you know. Yes, congratulations. Also, we wanted to tell you what we were kind of talking about before you came in. We kind of want to let you know me and Egypt were at your step up. Sorry, step down. That's a year away, right?
Well, it should have been my step down, but
well, we felt very, very safe. We absolutely enjoyed it. We had a blast, and hats off to your court because you guys did amazing.
Well, thank you very much. We did our best to make sure everybody was safe. So
you guys did. And we enjoyed it. I just wanted you to know that.
Minus the stressing, I enjoyed it myself.
So, how's your reign so far?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I never did see, how many socks did we get?
Oh, God.
Oh,
what
goodness.
Was the total?
I hate to
like
say that
30,000 pairs or something like that.
It was over 30,000.
Wow.
So it was. I remember seeing 30,000, but let me look at it to verify because I'm not 100% for sure the exact amount.
You exceeded your goal.
We did 100%.
Good.
So, and I'm very happy to see all the courts come together to do this, to warm up our homeless during the coldest times, definitely during a pandemic. 32,000. Thank you, Empress Paradise Rose. She said 32,000. So thank you for putting that out there for us. I just did not remember the number. But that's my Empress, by the way. She always has to keep me on my toes. Thank you.
So one other question: if people want to donate, where can they donate?
Oh yes, I haven't even brought that up all.
You gotta make that plug.
I'm so sorry. So below down here, you will see the Venmo. It's ISCS Spokane. And we also have our PayPal, which is iscsmedia50@gmail.com. I do want to also mention this as well. I'm going to try to see what I can do next month to do another one of these, but I'm going to mix up the emperors. What I want to do is have another emperor run the show and raise money for their own courts. Not where all the money is coming to Spokane, it'll be going to the other court as well. So I'm just wanting to throw that out there. It gets us all involved a little bit. We cannot drive. Yes, but we do, Jordan, we do.
Shall we put the newest monarch to the circuit on the spot?
Yeah, let's put him on the spot real quick. Let's put him on the spot. What do you want to ask him?
If he wants to host us next month.
I have no clue what I'm doing, but if y'all want me to, I'll try.
Yeah. What I did is I reached
Gilbert,
out
you're gonna
to
help me,
all-
right?
I'll help you, and so I'm sure you'll help as well, right?
You mean me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will you be able to help as well?
Of course. I'd be happy to assist you. Like any technicalities, how to get videos in, I can show you
Yeah,
guys.
because I
all
am
these-
not. I am like an 85-year-old man when it comes to technology.
All good. We can figure all this out.
Didn't we have that discussion earlier?
Yes, we did.
So Jesse, you're about a week out. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When's your investiture? Is it going to be live or
No, we did it the day after.
you did the day after? So you've got your family in place. Any questions for? And maybe not for me. I'm not as seasoned as a couple of others on here, but any questions we can answer for you and support you and your.
I'm still
Coming
trying
along?
to get adjusted to everything. So, I mean, I talked to my Empress quite a bit. She's been phenomenal for the last 6 months. Been going through some personal stuff, and so she's pretty much been kind of like a babysitter for me. So,
Okay.
And she's a sweetheart.
and then I got Gilbert. He's always there to talk when I need something to do or need some help with anything. So.
And you can
Well,
always reach out to me as well.
I can
I'm
speak
here
for
to-
me. You can reach out for me, and I'm sure any of these other people on here would be willing to listen or provide advice and support and show up. If
Well,
you
I
need-
appreciate it. That's another thing. I got to learn to ask for help when I need it.
Yeah.
By the way, I love that
Absolutely.
bird guys behind you.
And then next time that we host this, can we get Jesse's picture behind him as our wallpapers?
I know, right?
Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
that used to hang in the
We
651
can.
in Fort
You
Worth.
just have to get it on Google. That's it.
Yeah, just
That's
put it
a lot.
over. Put it over his right shoulder there on the.
Just saying.
Well, you
There
said there
we
were
go.
kids watching, so I was like trying not to make sure it wasn't in the video too much.
That's okay because that's not as bad as my FUPA. We were first starting to do virtual shows, so we were looking at getting Zoom hooked up and going to Facebook Live.
And you played a porn,
My
didn't you?
husband and myself, and I came down and he was cursing, and so I walked over and sat down with him, and I wanted to switch seats with him. So I stood up to switch seats with him, and I totally forgot I was buck-ass naked, and there was like penis and ass all over for about 20 seconds.
Wow.
Oh, can I say that on this live feed?
I think that's awesome.
You guys are a mess.
Can you believe that there, Patrick?
Yeah. Cheers.
So yeah, that was
Cool.
my biggest faux pas so far.
Real quick, someone has the live feed playing in the background. Can they turn it down so it's
Yeah, there's a little
not
bit of echo.
echoing?
I think that's Las Vegas. You always know how they like that stadium sound.
Oh, it does?
It's just so it's not echoing. It'll be a little easier.
I think it's, your closet's so sparkly.
I know that closet is very sparkly.
That's why I had to put this green sheet up because everything behind this is like the second office. So
All of my stuff is inside there.
oh, I have like two of those.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It works well.
All right. So, anybody else have any questions for us? Because there's one more thing I want to cover before we jump off.
This may not be for here, but one thing, and I've said it in the Emperor's chat before, is I've had to get a whole separate calendar from my normal calendar. There are so many things that you guys have that I could participate in, but sometimes it goes all the way up to the feed somewhere. And I know there's a date up there that says, hey, could you send a video or a head? And I'm like, where in the hell did that go? So when I mentioned like whether I might use a Google Calendar for some of my stuff just for my own event show coordinator and pageant person, so I know what always is going on. But if that is something that I don't know, or with some reminder or a breakdown of like whoever's keeping track, because there's a few that I remember, and then if I'm working or I'm with my family, I come back and it's like 120 messages somewhere in the background, and I ain't got time to go through all that.
Same.
Well, unless it's like some really good pictures or something that I missed, then I might scroll back.
I will tell you, I really like that idea of having a Google Calendar. I really do like that idea because then we can try to be there for events as well. Like I was talking to you about my birthday show in July.
Right.
I would love for you to MC my birthday show. It's July 17th. Please make sure you have it down.
Well, like I mentioned when you were talking about that, if you make it virtual, and that's also I'm going to scroll to that really quick because that's our E&R Ball weekend, which is our big HIV/AIDS, and that's actually a Saturday. And depending on what part you need me for, I can actually pop in or pre-record or just make a cameo as well. We can talk. But the Google Calendar, well, I think that's a great idea because any of the emperors or that are involved in that chat, you create it, you put it via email invite, put them as an editor, and they're able to enter their own event with their own details, and it will merge over with my other calendar, and it makes it easier for me, at least.
Okay.
And then I can do a week ahead if I say, so you have something coming up this Friday. I put in my Google Calendar, I put my reminder a week before and this and that, and I have something pre-recorded and sent to you. So it's a thought.
Well, we did have another question from Jordan. He wants to know if we can get a hot emperor calendar.
A what?
A hot emperor calendar.
Oh.
Oh.
Do we have to make this an 18 and older to YouTube stream next time?
Yeah.
All you have to do is see the flyer, and you see one of the emperors all in leather in a throne chair. I love that photo, by the way.
So, Brandon, I think that's a great idea because the biggest issue I'm having now is, especially in this virtual environment, and even switching to live coronations, is who's having what. They don't create event pages anymore. They just post a flyer. I mean, or something, and then 2 weeks down the line, there's no event page, so you don't get a reminder. But you are like, duh, the flyer was posted 2 weeks ago. So I don't know. Maybe a group calendar for all the emperors would be, a good thing. Or something, or at least stress to your courts to create event pages on Facebook or something, and then communicate with each other about the coronations that are coming back live. Because I don't know about you guys, but my emperorship is tied to attending 5 coronations this year. But I don't know when they are. I don't know if they're live. My board will have to deal with that issue later, but so yeah, it's a great idea to do something like that.
I want to touch on that actually, that you're talking about your travel requirements that you have as your organization and as being your monarch of training. I'm sure other organizations have requirements on where you are and cannot attend or whatever it is. What we've done so far in ours is where we have actual travel funds reimbursed later. We're able to attend, let's say, for example, Las Vegas, because we attended virtually. So, board of directors.
Oh, so you saw my crowning.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. That was a fun night.
Yeah.
I Long Beach, Fresno. I'm going to be virtually with Denver. But we've asked the board in place where, where they'll say there's a ticket or a admittance price to view this online. We've asked for what we would spend in a ball ticket if we paid that as part of a donation to the court. That intending, does that waive or does that count as a travel requirement? Which we've agreed that as a board that we can submit that as an attendance. But of course we're there. We're our full regalia and we attend. But upon that, what I wanted to touch on is your comment on the event pages. So in event pages and flyers, and this does cross over a little bit more to making people comfortable, is trying to put in your event description that the COVID information for that venue, that state, that county, or wherever you are. I've mentioned before that putting the codes that some states have for their area on the flyer, we are in orange or what level you're at. So maybe people that don't see that and then just see a flyer immediately know that that's the restriction or the guidelines that they need to follow. Event pages and coronations, yeah, they post that. It's a quick little one glance, I'm interested kind of thing. And like, oh, that's an awesome photo. With the Google Calendar and things that we're mentioning, I know tomorrow Chance of Portland is also having a little chit chat, but that happens to be during our board meeting. These questions, if anyone's attending that with Chance, is also a way to kind of get some of the information, because I think this collaboration on comfort levels and where we go from here, things might take a downswing, but when this fall hits, it's always subject to change with this crappy thing. But that's kind of where, with that and with the attendance requirements and coronation requirements and travel requirements, if it lists, there's some where you guys are starting to open up that I'm going to be at, so I am excited about that. I'm on my Moderna ×2, so luckily, some people it's not for, some people will fight it, and that's them.
Agree. Okay, let's go over the last thing before we end, because we do have about 7 minutes until we end the live. So let's talk about coronations. Anyone's coronations coming up soon, like this year or next year, that they know the dates already?
So for mine, we have the hotel booked. It is set for September 18th. We just have to go meet with the hotel and go with details for like plan A or plan.
Write that down.
Huh?
I'm writing you down.
Oh, write me down. September 18th, 2021. In New Mexico. We did book the Sheraton Hotel Airport. We just need to know like the details and all that. So our governor, we're almost like we're about to open in the next month, I think, because we're doing super good with the vaccine here. Because she got us on lockdown for a while, so we're like, but I think by the end of May we should be like 100% open, because there's a few counties that are still like at risk, high risk, but I think
We can't hear you.
Yeah.
Did you mute yourself? There you go. Now we can
Oh,
hear you.
there you go. She's back.
Yeah. So I think that it's gonna we're gonna meet with
You muted yourself again.
It's all those pop-ups. His computer has the virus.
All those grinder notifications.
Oh my gosh.
Still can't even hear you.
Your laptop? Is that a desktop thing?
I think he's on his phone, I believe.
We can't hear you.
Just write it down and hold it up to your camera.
Got to write it backwards too.
Oh, yeah.
We still can't hear you.
No, I don't know what's going on. You might need to refresh the web page.
Delete your cookies.
Can you chew your bone even harder?
While they're trying to get that figured out, I mean, I can speak on Ogden. We're getting our block in. We will be in person. We are planning for a hybrid potentially. We are in person 100%. If anything changes, we have a backup plan of going virtual or distance. So, and that's actually will be Greg's almost last before his step down.
Well, you guys are in August or September?
We're actually a week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, November.
So we follow a lot of folks, and that makes my September, October very busy. And then right after.
What is your theme this year? Do you know?
For Ogden?
Uh-huh.
It is Journey, a return to the Emerald City.
Oh, yeah.
We picked that because after all our where we kind of all got disassociated during the vaccine coming out, it's helping us, but we were all like scrambling in our organization. I feel kind of lost its direction and its way, and we didn't know what to do. So in Reign 1, when my Empress was crowned by the Widow Norton, she is now reigning with me, and hers back then was Emerald, and she was the Emerald Phoenix in Empress 1. So I said, how about we tie back where our origin and bring it here and just take it back to the Emerald City. So so it's a little personal. It's a little historic for us. It's important to her. And I mean, who doesn't like watching a house fall on someone? Nicely.
So,
allegedly.
Patrick, what about you? You want to talk about Halifax?
Yeah, sure. So our coronation is at the end of October 22nd to the 24th. We don't have an actual date. Like we don't know if it's going to be physical or online. But we have until the end of May, so we can find out exactly like what's going to happen until then, and we can make a decision if we're going to have it in person or virtually. More than likely, what will happen is like if we have in person, it will be just like within our community in Nova Scotia, and we might have an actual online show that people can actually join us through like on like this platform that we're currently having right now.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, so that's to be determined right now.
I will tell you, Spokane is going to be happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that. The theme is a royal time in the Rose Garden. Of course, it's TYME. So I had to use my name in that. And Rose is my Empress's last name. So it's actually going to be October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's actually Columbus Day weekend. So a lot of people have that Monday off. So
I don't.
You don't.
Mm-mm.
But
I'll
you're
be
going to
there.
be here.
Yeah.
So a lot of green, a lot of blues, a lot of roses, a lot of that. Our
My
hotel
family
has.
doesn't do Columbus Day.
What was that?
And my family doesn't do Columbus Day.
Oh, you guys don't do Columbus Day?
No,
Well,
we
it's
do
going to be a
an
blast.
Indigenous Day.
Oh, okay. Well, I will tell you guys, the host hotel has been set up. You can book your hotel rooms now. So book your rooms and get all taken care of. I was going to say, Jesse, do you know anything? But you just stepped up, so you don't have your step.
Well, they just had investors. We're like ahead of the game. Come
I know
on.
what. I know
I know.
what weekend is our coronation. I just don't know anything about hotel or anything. I know we have a 5-year contract, but I don't know if that's going to be rediscussed or anything because of this last year.
How
Okay.
far are you into that contract?
Do what?
How far are you into that contract?
They had just renewed it for Dalton and Italy's coronation.
Oh,
So I have no idea. I have to get with the president of the board and find out.
I know Salt Lake City did that, so those are interesting arrangements, though.
Yeah, I don't know if they just canceled the whole contract or if they readjusted it. I'll have to get with Kevin Smith and ask exactly what they're doing with that.
Awesome.
All right. And what about Las Vegas?
Las Vegas's coronation is in December.
Is it December 10th and 11th? The second
Actually,
weekend?
it's gonna be that second weekend in December.
So 10th and
The
11th.
10th
Okay.
to the 12th.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Do you have a theme yet?
We do, but my coronation committee chair says, don't say anything. We're marketing this year.
You know what? I'm going to contact Miss Taylor Trash here. Let me text her. Like, "Sir,
Oh,
So
My-
she's just like, we're just saving the date. I'm not even supposed to tell you the date. It's just December. So yeah, second weekend.
I'm a citizen for life there. I'm privy to information.
Okay, well then we'll do that offline.
I'll text her.
Oh, and what
I can't have her mad at me right now. So
is New Mexico's theme?
clowns and gowns.
Clowns and gowns. I'm terrified of clowns. I'm just going to give you guys all the heads up.
So basically,
but I will be there.
you can come as a clown or you can come in formal wear, whatever you want to do, or both.
I'll be formal wear. No clowns for me. All right. Anybody else have anything else? Because we did go over 3 minutes. So anyone else have any questions or statements or comments? No.
I'm looking forward
No.
to seeing all you guys soon. So hopefully that happens soon.
yes, stay safe and stay healthy.
Amen.
I tell everyone, you've already watched Sesame Street and you already know Grover taught you how to stay near and far. They taught you how to cover your mouth. They would wash your hands, all that stuff. So whatever you've already learned it like in Sesame Street in kindergarten. So unless you don't pay attention in class, you're screwed.
All right. So just do us all a
Awesome.
favor. Get vaccinated if you can get vaccinated. Wear your mask. 6
Wash your
foot
hands.
distancing. Wash your hands and stay safe, not only for yourself, but for everyone else around you.
Yes.
And I think that is it. Oh, one last thing. Please don't forget to donate to the Venmo, ISCS Spokane, and also the PayPal, ISCSmedia50@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And we will figure out when the next date is. We'll sit down with the Emperor and figure out what date he would like to do it, and we will get it all set up for him.
Excellent. Just want to say something really quick. As soon as I'm done with this stream, I will be with the Imperial Court of Toronto with Nikki Chin at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So
Oh, I'll be getting ready for pageant, but I love that. I love what you guys do.
that's
And if you
awesome.
guys need any information about what all the courts do, every court does something different. I know there's a lot of people that are on the live that I haven't seen in the court system. So I just want to go over this a little bit. Each court does things differently. We are sovereign. We are sovereign courts. Like with our court, we have a cancer fund. We have food basket funds. We have a disaster fund. We have a whole bunch of stuff for our realm. And we do things together as well from other courts as well. Other courts have, I know Brandon and I was talking, they do cleaning the highways. They clean up a highway. They do a whole bunch of different stuff than we do as well. So if you would like to get any information, please just jump on Google, type in your area, and type in Imperial Courts, and it will pull up some information for the court that's local to you. All right. Well, thank you guys for all joining in, and it was a blast chatting with you guys, and the Brotherhood is very, very strong. So keep up all the good work, and I love you all so much.
Love you guys. Have a good day.
Have a good day,
You
guys.
as well.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye. Thank you.